Testing. I know we can hear some because I can hear the feedback. I love that. We might do that. That might be the way we start every show from now on. Just keep you. One, it helps the engagements, so that's a good thing. Get you typing no sound, no sound, no sound. Two, like Mike says, it gets you making sure it's not you. Sometimes it's you, but at least you can check one box and know that it's not you. And know that it didn't know that it's us. It is not you. And yes, Terry, I will start again. This is Big Games James underscore 36, and this is Big Games B.S. Presented by Did Media. Oh, shit, I always fuck that up. I had it good. I liked what I did last time, but I don't remember what I did last time. Anyways, something about Did Media Group, alphamelejacks.com. Go to alphamelejacks.com. We will talk Primetime Mac about Auntie Lennon. And just bringing this up because it's more to Alpha Male Jacks than this, but this is a big part of it. Excuse me. When you're over a certain age as a male, right, you need to get your hormone levels checked. And I think this is a perfect example of needing to get your hormone levels checked. He's very hormonal. It's very all over the place. Says a lot of lies. Does a lot of things. You know, I'm not saying that he has high estrogen, low T, but I am saying that he sometimes exhibits some of the symptoms of low T, high estrogen, and some of the downsides of trying to live these alternative lifestyles. Wait a minute, I can explain. I don't mean that. I don't think. You never know. I don't know. What he does in his bedroom is got nothing to do with me. But he is vegan, and he was already bad. Ever since he became vegan, a lot of shit has gone wrong. But we will talk. I mean, like it goes from you're not feeling like how recruiting's going. You're not really liking the way recruiting's going. You kind of feel that. You feel like it might spill into some of that might spill into your season. Yeah, I'm feeling that. Remember, that's how he started the year off, and he went from there, giving these people these high expectations to where life is more about football. Is becoming philosophical now, a political pundit. Again, this is the people that you guys support. I'm just, I don't get it. It's cool. Like it's anybody who starts who trolls, and then any man who trolls and then gets mad at other men for trolling them back. I just, to me, high estrogen, low testosterone behavior. You go to alphamelejacks.com, type in the consultation. We will give you a phone call, say, hey, man, let us do your blood panels. Get your blood panel evaluation. We can make sure we get all of that checked, man, because I want y'all living your best life to end 2023 going into 2024. Now, there's the weight loss side. There's a whole bunch of other different things, whole bunch of variety of things that people should be able to take advantage of and partake in. I want you all living your best. We're going to talk about a lot of the things. Big three. Man, I don't think I've seen a year where all three quarterbacks go down in the big three. All three starting quarterbacks. Miami's got two that are hurt because apparently the Dyke messed his leg up, and then Emory, unfortunately against Florida State, broke his arm. And the difference is, and it's sad. I never wish injury on anybody. Played the game way too violently to go around, and I'm lucky I came out relatively unscathed. But Emory goes down. Miami fans say we would have won. We would have done better had he not got hurt. Florida State fans, our guy goes down. We still try to figure out how we're going to win this whole bitch. And I'll discuss how there's some things that are going to go with that. But before we got to do our housekeeping, we still have a season. Cannot quit on the season. We have Florida next week. But after that, Florida season could be over after next after next Saturday. Our job is to make sure they get to go spend the holidays with their family. As for everybody else, all our rivals get a chance to watch us in Charlotte. If you don't have tickets to the game right now, this is the best time. Best to do is go sign up for the tailgate in Charlotte. Right now, the lot that I'm securing the deal with, it's going to be similar to Orlando, but different. We will sell 100 VIP indoor slots. I will post them on the website today. I will give everybody who's already bought a ticket the opportunity to upgrade to buying a VIP slot. That's on you. They're going to sell till Wednesday for $100. The VIP slot will sell for $100. We have 100 slots, $100. After that, VIP would be $150. Same thing as everything. All you can eat, all you can drink, all that's different stuff. Now, inside of that VIP place, we will have your own food, so you ain't got to go outside to get food. You will have your own liquor, so you ain't got to go outside and get liquor. You may have to go outside to get beer. I told you I'm not fucking with y'all with that beer shit no more, because y'all ungrateful. But there will be two 85-inch TVs that has cable. You ain't even got to worry about the streaming shit. We will literally have the games all day played inside the VIP area. There's couches, there's all kinds of stuff. It is an office. It is not a warehouse. It is truly climate controlled. I'm not lying to you. I'm not lying or embellishing. I'm not saying what I hope could happen. This is what that shit is. The regular tickets are still on sale right now, $40. You can go get that. No, is it $40 or $50? Maybe $50. Whatever. The price of that shit is going up as soon as I get done with the show. So I'm just letting people know. Go there right now. We got a good amount of people that have already bought. Oh, should have been a member for 6 months? Shout myself out. Give myself a green. But yeah, so letting people know that we have that. Yes, all Dubs, what you'll do, go back if you or hit me up. Actually, all Dubs, if you've already bought a tailgate ticket, because I believe all Dubs is a you all in, if I remember correctly. If you already got a ticket, you straight, all Dubs. I'll go and make sure you get what you need to get. If you've already bought a ticket, all you gotta do is just, I'm gonna send an email out saying if you want a ticket, respond back. We'll do this thing where you get a voucher. So basically give you essentially kind of refund you your money, but you'll be able to basically get that. You'll pay the difference. Bottom line is you'll pay the difference. So we'll have the VIP link there for you for that. Oh, well, yeah. So what we'll do is, my bad. That's cool. You'll get it if you say you want it. We'll send you a voucher. The voucher will in turn like give you the credit, and you just pay the difference for that. Yeah. So make sure you guys check us out with that. We're trying to have 300 people at the tailgate. Want to have a good time, good vibes. We control everything at this tailgate. So it's not like how Orlando, one of the complications was one of the lots we bought was a church. We had to wait till they got out of church. We had a whole bunch of other shit that was happening. One person that opened up the lot when they said they were going to open up the lot, one lot. And once I get it secured, we will, again, you guys got to understand shit costs money. I'm not here to, I don't do these things to make a lot of money. I do this stuff to actually help relieve you of the headaches, so that is literally 0.2 miles away from the stadium. We will have parking available. The parking ain't gonna be cheap. It's not gonna be anywhere near as much as I'm gonna go look at what the parking stuff is. It's gonna be cheaper than any of the parking. Well, any of the premium parking that's currently available at a lot of the spots. So there's that. Just those are the housekeeping announcements. Check it out. Prices are going up. You got to get that shit while it's cheap. So before we get into the elephant in the room, the Jaguars won in a convincing fashion, whooped that ass for the Tennessee Titans. Can you the Tennessee Titan fans always have some shit to say, man. Like we suck. I don't get that mindset. You got your ass whooped. You thought you had a chance to win, but then when you win, you say, "Oh, well, y'all should have won because we suck." That's not fun. That's low T, high E. But One of the things that happened, this is what this Music City Miracles guy says: enjoy your day, Jags fans. You beat a bad football team, blah blah blah, yakety schmackety. And this is what I got to say to anybody who always coming out here. You fan of another team, you always got that bullshit to say. My pastor, the Davius Demon, you guys know him as Future. He has these great quotes to say. I love Future. He's not as toxic as people think. He's just real. Real is toxic in a world that's so living in make believe. But what does the Davius have to say?
I think everyone should mind their own business. That's where they're gonna get their business done.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck your head up, then.
Mind your business. How you gonna get your business done?
I'm listening.
I think everyone should mind their own business. That's where they're gonna get their business done.
So that, if you're a Titans fan, mind your own fucking business. Stay out of us. What I wanted to say though is what the butt muncher Kevin Gates says. This is still one of the greatest things. Boy, fuck you. Die today. Die today. Now, funny part of it is everybody did well. Trevor Lawrence played well. Accounted for 4 touchdowns. If you had him in fantasy football for the first week, you're going to be like, yo, this motherfucker doing the thug dizzle. Defense played well. The Titans were getting such a thorough ass whipping that if you follow me since this guy's been drafted, there's only 2 players that I've hated. I don't know if I hate this guy. I hated Taven Bryan, though. I just didn't think this guy was any good. And that's Clavicle Chesterson, or Clevin Fawn, the boy from LSU, who ain't never made a play. Boy, do you know what he did yesterday? That motherfucker finally made a play. But I said in the press box, and they all looked at me. They all looked at me because they know how I feel about this young man. And they're like, see, Clavion made a sack. I said, watch it get called back. And you know what happened? They called it back for unnecessary roughness. I said, that's great. I said, I love it. I love it. T-Law, again, I'll do more NFL coverage in like 2 weeks when college is basically done. We'll talk more about the Jags and all this other stuff. I'll either make you a Jags fan but that was me. When I saw that happen, I was sitting there. I was in stitches. I can't wait to get that guy off my team. He's taking up a roster spot. Getting paid well as a first-round pick. The money's guaranteed. I'm glad this is year 4 and they didn't extend him. Am I a hater? Possibly. But it is what it is. So the elephant in the room, before I get to that, it was another great environment, another great atmosphere for Florida State. 5th straight sold-out game against an FCS opponent. Now, I did not do my breakdown yesterday because I was worn out. I was tired. And then I talked about it with sporadics on the spaces on Twitter. I will go into it now and we'll talk about it. And if you're an FSU fan or if you're a rival or whatever, you got any questions? Now's the time to ask questions about the game. I still plan on doing my evaluation of the game. Today at 1:00 for my greenies. What up, RJ? I know 10-10 is going to be 10-10 is like all of us is loving that Jay Trav is no longer healthy. I can already hear Fresh say with the soft voice, it's just sad what happened to that young man. But now they're going to keep him out of the playoffs and they're just happy because they know we'll be incorrigible. But RJ's still my guy. I'm going to tell you this, guys. A lot of you guys really need to really reevaluate the way you watch the game. And so I didn't get a chance to really watch much of the first quarter because between mingling and talking with my former teammate, Leroy Smith, and trying to console a 10-year-old, it was difficult to pay attention to the outside world at that point. Me and Leroy were catching up, talking about a lot of different things. And my 10-year-old was going through the gamut of what a 10-year-old would go through. What does that mean, James? My son does not have many life experiences. My son also was born 10 years ago, for those who don't know. He was born during the national championships. I kid you not. I would literally be holding my son, or he would be in the little foot thing that you put him in. If you got kids, you could be like, use your foot, you can rock the chair and whatever. We would watch football, Florida State football games. I knew he was going to be different. This motherfucker sits there and was watching the goddamn game. His eyes were going back and forth with the game. Ever since he was able to walk, he's been running. I think he walked slowly for one day, and then ever since then, he started running. I would watch. There's video on Facebook of Trey watching the football game while I'm watching it, and every offensive snap, taking the ball, running around through the kitchen, and running while the offensive play is going, and then he'll stop. And then the next offensive play, he would do it again. The boy loves Florida State. He's also the inspiration of the All-In experience. Nobody gets to experience Florida State the way that my son does, even me. His favorite player is Jordan Travis right now. Little brother's favorite player is Keon Coleman. Kai doesn't give a fuck about what happens as long as Keon Coleman's healthy. Kai has a Keon Coleman chant. Trey was distraught. He was crying. He said, is he going to be okay? Is the season over? Am I going to ever get a chance to meet him again? Is this going to happen? Is that going to happen? But then I looked at my timeline, and I saw a bunch of grown-ass men and women acting like the fucking 10-year-old. And then I hadn't really seen that. I saw that the score was 13-0. I looked, I said, damn, that's not optimal. That shouldn't be happening. I don't know why it's 13-0, but I'm like, okay, well, now I'm getting puffed up. Then I realized it's fucking North Alabama. They're juiced up. And I have life experience. I have Florida State experience. If anybody want a homework assignment, go look 2005 Citadel versus Florida State. Citadel jumped out on us that year. We whipped the fuck out of them when it was all said and done, but they punched us in the mouth. It's what happens. At every show that I do, I never say we're going to beat the team. They're not, the other team's not going to score, because that's very difficult to do. It's hard to prevent somebody from scoring, no matter who you're playing. That's why their pitching shutouts are rare. Just like the stat is, if you score over 30 points, that's rare. I saw on my timeline, Mike sucks at offensive calling. This offense sucks. This offense sucks. And then I'm like, y'all forget an entire thing of work. I was like, what? And then I ask always, do you watch football? Like, I watch an insane amount of football on a weekly basis. Between high school, college, and pro, clips, my life revolves around football. It's kind of like the people who work at like your favorite restaurants. I remember thinking Chick-fil-A, having a job at Chick-fil-A had to be the greatest job in the world. I had a friend who worked there say he was around so much chicken, he didn't want to eat chicken. So people think I have the greatest gig in the world, and it's not bad. But like, I watch so much football that my view on football is skewed. And I go back, and ESPN, the app, you can't do this online, but ESPN, the app, has a lot of great things. So if you go to scores, right, and you check out, go to the NCAA, you go find the game that you want. So I'm checking scores, NCAA football. I'm going to go find the Florida State thing, which we're ranked 5 now in the AP poll. Still 4 in the ESPN poll currently. We'll see where we're at. We'll see what happens tomorrow. Not really worried about that. You push on the button, and I go to the Florida State North Alabama game. They have Gamecast, box score, play-by-play. And this is what made me really go back and look at it, was when we were on the field, Adam Fuller damn near tackled Trey, by the way, on the field. He was very happy to see Trey. They talked about football and linebacker shit. Adam Fuller brought up this point, and he said, if it wasn't for that damn fake punt, they would have only had 90 yards of total offense. I'm going to repeat this again, which is not the defensive fault. That's on Jeff Papuchis for not being prepared. But he said if it wasn't for the 90-yard, the 40, that fake punt, they would have only had 90. Do you realize how difficult that fucking is? So when he said this, and what I always tell people, when I am armed with new information, like I just saw this really dope quote. It's okay to have your own opinions, to form your own, but you can't form your own facts. So when I go back and I look at the facts of the situation, the 2 scoring drives they had, it was 1 yard, 4 yards. So they got 9 yards on that drive before the 64-yard fake punt on 4th and 1. Mind you, at their own 23-yard line. Nobody does that shit. Like that is I have nothing to lose. I'm just happy to be here. I'm going to do whatever it takes. So they got it. They got you. They caught us. They got into a position. They fumbled the ball, and the ball bounced right back to them. And then they threw a ball over, caught the ball. Was it? Yeah, they dunked on 8. Shit happens. Momentum swing. The next touchdown. We got an interception. Renardo Green, guy who got dunked on, gets the interception. Gets overturned because of Brandon Fisk jumps off sides. And then they have a big play. Then they managed to go 3 quarters with no points. Florida State scored 58 unanswered points. More adversity happened. And that's what we'll mainly get into. I can break down more of it, but Jordan Travis got injured. And again, the collective fan base lost their mind by entertaining idiocracy. That's not a such word. Entertaining idiots that are literally going for the interactions and trolls. I'm learning more and more every day that why I don't understand people is that a lot of people live for affirmations, confirmations, and interactions from anybody. And if they can't get it from those that they love, they get it in form bonds with people that they don't know. And life was not designed to be like that. We weren't supposed to be engaged and entertained this much. We're overstimulated. But J Trav gets hurt. People are mad. Other fan bases are cheering. Fine, whatever. Don't care about that. People talk shit that they wouldn't normally say to anybody. Like J Trav's such a good person. If you saw J Trav in real life and you were a rival fan, you're not going to talk shit about him. Not in his face. You're going to do it on the safety of keyboards. Not worried about that. Just like I'm not worried about like when Emory, I was there. They were saying fuck UM like a lot, but not when Emory was hurt. Actually, the stadium was quiet for the most part. That stunk. But there were some dicks online who picked on Emory. I had a friend who actually predicted the injury, but he did that like 3 days before the game started. Like he felt shitty about it. Like it was like this clip, this picture with a guy with his arm broken. And he was just like Emory, but like Miami fans obviously found it the day of the game. And nobody went to go look at the timestamp, right? Like if you look at the timestamp, it clearly says he didn't do it that day. But then I expect certain things from people just in jest and talking shit. So the way of the world. But what I don't expect is from the fans. Shout out to Luke for the upgrade. Appreciate you, brother. What's crazy is our season's over. What are we going to do now? Mike can't call an offense without JT. Our offensive line sucks. Just like, and some of these things are some of the stuff that you got up there, Miles. So you can pull up some of this stuff. It's our strength and conditioning coach's fault. The motherfucker broke his leg, dog. What the fuck does that have to do with Josh Storms? Like, there are no bone strengthening exercises. They blame Mike. Why is he even in the game? It's the first quarter of senior night. You think Jordan Travis got to where he is by not wanting to compete at all? He had no real injuries, man. And then, well, now they're really not gonna put us in the college football playoffs. Guys, they've been talking shit about us not being in the college football playoff for quite some time. It all works itself out. I've told people who've listened from the beginning, it all works itself out. I've also told people that Tate Rodemaker this offense looks completely different with him. I'm not saying it looks better or worse. It's just different because Tate pushes the ball down the field. Go look at every game that when he's getting in, Tate is getting in and chunking that bitch. It just shows me that people don't have an understanding. That's the reason why he was number 2. Oh, we didn't even show this shit. But anyways, let me show some of the positives. My bad before we get into this. We almost lost two notable no's. If you notice, Daddy had to come in and grab it. But that's my youngest, Killer. And that's Garnet the Goldfish. Garnet the Goldfish almost died because that guy who's Garnet's owner decided to give it to let the 5-year-old hold the bag. And he ain't got no good grip. But he was happy. And then Trey kind of gave a little bit of a smile to that's Trey's smile. That's about as good as we're gonna get. And but Tate wants to throw the pill down the field, man. Now I do have questions because this is what we use this for. Does tits for Tate work? Can we go tits for Fitz and tits for Tate? Tit for tat. I don't really like the 180 leave. I know the 8 is supposed to mimic believe. I ain't gonna lie to you. It's 8. It's like it feels like a lot. Elive. That's what it feels like I'm trying to say. Can we get my guy Tate? Do we need to do tits work for Tate? And what's crazy though, you know who the saying normally is the most popular person on campus is the backup quarterback. Man, that backup quarterback went in there, and you would think that this isn't the kid who beat Louisville last year. Is there anything to say that other teams have been prepared for Tate? Better. We got it. Cakes for Tate. Tate's from Valdosta, Georgia. Got to be an ass man. He's in the South. Cakes for Tate. Okay, we got that. That's what we're going to do. We've decided this as a family. Or I did. Whatever. Cakes for Tate. That's where we're going to go. And then people are talking about the offensive line and the protection. Like, what about, again, and this is why I tell people, this is why it's important to go watch the breakdowns, whether you do it live as a member or you go and you watch it at 6 p.m. when it uploads. The reason why it's important is that you would be so much more informed about what happens in a football game from a guy who actually played it. Doesn't just have coach in front of his name. Like, motherfucker, I lived it. I break it down. This is what I do. I see it on a lot of levels. I'm going to give you some more fodder for you to tell your friends. There are 5 elite offensive lines in college football. That's it. Period. Most offensive lines look like our offensive line. It ain't always clean. It ain't always pretty. It's going to look rough at times. That's why quarterbacks climb the pocket and you have a timer. The Tate sacks came from Tate. Climbed the pocket, didn't get rid of the goddamn ball. Then one time he tried to do the Jordan Travis shit, and you're not Jordan Travis. I tell a lot of people the shit that Jordan Travis does sometimes is what gets Jordan Travis sacked because he's such a good athlete and he relies on his stuff. It's hard to block for that stuff. Tate's going to be fine. Some of our guys need to play better. But it ain't like we haven't given up that many sacks this year. And that's how you judge your line. Our pass pro is actually pretty fucking good. Motherfuckers ain't getting open all the time, but I also think that comes from the progression of what defensive coordinators feel like they can do. Tate wants to throw that bitch down the field, so that's going to open up the middle of the field and a lot of other things if the guy is smart. Now, there's not much film on him. The Elmer Fudd, Porky Pig looking, Elmer Fudd sounding, Porky Pig looking motherfucker gonna have to be multiple in the front end and multiple in the back end to defend this. But I like the way the running game was moving toward the end. Now, I will say my biggest critique in all of this, and I've had this critique since Southern Miss, I believe we get in an effort to develop guys because we are playing with house money. We play entirely too many people on the football team. We should have played our starters and had a dominant game plan going into the game. And once dominance is established, then you start putting in your backups. That being said, when your defense is playing like this, and you're going up against a rival, albeit in their house, that's 5-7. And I'm gonna try to say read this the right way so that it doesn't sound like it's a Christmas carol. Maybe if I do it in reverse order, it won't sound like that. They've given up in consecutive weeks. I want people to know 8 of the 11 games. 8 of the 11 games that they've played this season, they have given up over 350 yards of total offense. They gave up 508 yards of total offense to Missouri. That's the game that Tate has to play, that gets to play in. Before he goes and plays the team that he beat last year with a better quarterback. What are you afraid? What do y'all? That's y'all per se. If I'm talking to you, then I'm talking to you loud and clear. If I'm not talking to you, don't get offended. Shoe fits, wear the motherfucker though. Like wear it, dance around, prance if you need to. But where do some of y'all get up? How do you live your life? Do you live your lives that scary? That when something bad happens, you immediately fold. Because nobody elite lives like that. Booger McFarland brought up the best point. We still have 2 of the best wide receivers in the nation. They didn't get hurt. You still got 2 of the best running backs in the nation. They didn't get hurt. And you still have a defense that has not let anybody score over 30 points this season and literally is the only defense to hold probably the guy who's going to win the Heisman Trophy, hold him down. And then I want to show the video, and I want you to see, does this look like a team who's finished? You might be finished because that's how you live your life. This is why we have alpha male jacks. I want you to live your life and live it more abundantly. Like get that testosterone up. You might live your life that way, but you don't get to this level by quitting when shit like this happens. But the video, you already have it up. Oh, damn. Well, damn. Because I'm going to show you something. I want you to tell me, did this look like a bunch of boys? Click the same one twice. Yeah. To me, it looks like everybody needs this catalyst moment that brings people together sometimes. And what it looks like is Northern Alabama on that bullshit might have brought them together. And if you watch that game, the way it ended, even on the blocked field goal, all of the different stuff that they did. You're seeing this is a bunch of college students after taking their time on their day off to go hang out with their injured buddy. That's not just offensive guys. That's Jared Verse, leader of the defense. That's Fabo. They're laughing, making jokes, all kinds of different stuff. Everybody's coming and surrounded by the guy. They're talking about with it for 13. They're talking about a lot of different things, man. It's crazy to think that, oh my God, we're playing another team who has their backup quarterback in, who's never had any kind of success. Not saying he's a bad quarterback. We don't know. We've never seen him win a game before. We've seen Tate win a game before. It's crazy to think that. That's just what, again, even if it does happen, right? Because anything can happen. But to go into the game thinking that you're going to lose with nothing of proof, you're trolling. And you're trolling, and what you're trying to do is make it easier for you if the loss happens. Because you say, well, I didn't expect to do anything. And I'm here to tell you that you don't become successful by not having high expectations. You can not have high expectations, and it ain't gonna still ride on you, dog. But the better part in moving forward, and you can call it spin, call it whatever you want. But it's amazing how much is left in this season if Florida State takes care of business. Tate wins this game against Florida. That's week 1. Go in, you beat a top 10 ranked Louisville team. Still doable. Louisville's defense is pie. Plummer, when pressured, gives the ball up. Trust me, we've done breakdowns. If you see me talk about Louisville, I have no fear of Louisville. They gave up a ton of running yards against Miami, and Tyler Van Dyke probably played well enough for them to win that game. Plummer played like the worst quarterback. But then after that, you got 30 days before the playoff game. You literally have 6 weeks to develop a kid. That's half a fucking season, man. You're getting a jump start on next year, and you have plenty of time to develop Tate into something that you could do something with. If I did not wish it would have happened, but if it were going to happen, there's no better time for it to have happened than right now. In front of the 2013 national champions, I don't know what Jameis said, but I just like talking to Jameis. I also got a chance to meet Jameis's trainer. I've interviewed Otis. A big ass old country black man. Like, I'm talking about Otis towers over me. I said, goddamn, Otis, I did not expect you to be this goddamn big, Otis. But like, listen, what does Jameis have to say about all this?
Continue to encourage him to stay resilient and continue to persevere. I think he's the epitome of that with his journey, his college football career. He was having one of the best years ever in college football, man. And I'm grateful to be rocking his jersey and the significance of his number with us winning the championship in 2013 and him being one of the best quarterbacks this year, man. I just want to continue to lift him up and just keep his head, keep your head firm, stay firm, be strong and courageous. Like, the Lord has a plan for you that nobody can ever even imagine. So just stay resilient. And he has done that. So I know that to him and his family, I just want to pray for his family, that they're well. He's going to be fine. I know he will.
That's good, man. I like it. Here you go, Lou. November has all these different saves. There's no shave November, right? Anybody ever heard of that? A lot of guys grow their beards out in November. There's people say they're being celibate. There's no nut November. But I'm gonna make you privy to this new trend that Florida and Miami are starting. It's called No Win November. They're having a competition to see who can who can make sure that they stay winless in the month of November. Florida has lost to Arkansas, LSU, and Missouri. At least they're close. Miami's lost to NC State, Florida State, and Louisville. And now it has to go up to Boston. I wonder what the temperature in Boston is supposed to be. This is around the time of year when it gets fucked up, right, Miles? They played noon, so at least it gets dark at like 3:00 in Boston. So, holy shit! At least they ain't playing now. Oh my God, it's the worst. They're going up the bar. Oh man, we got to text your mom. 42 degrees, high of 42, low of 29. 36% chance of rain and snow. Gotta love it. You're going up there into with the Dyke having a leg injury. They got to put the blind kid in. Florida's got FSU. I think it's supposed to rain on Saturday down this way, but we'll see what happens. But here's what I want to tell the Florida State fans. Stop going back and forth with a bunch of people who are looking for moral victories and that are going to be playing their bowl game before the winter solstice or not playing in a bowl game at all. It's just not worth it. They'll be watching us on TV. Just tell them, make sure they give their critiques and they cheer for the other team from the comfort of their own home. We'll be on primetime more than likely. Interesting thing before we get into the Miami game, I believe, is Miami fans love stats. And Gordon Soley, 20, VIP member on the Canes 247 site brought this up. In Mario's 2 years as a coach, he has not won an ACC game in regulation at home. So, very interesting. I think a W is a W, but Mario's having a hard time. At least he's not like this guy, and I hope Mario doesn't reach out to this guy after they fired Dawson, which I don't think they should, but I hope they do. Because, I don't know, Dawson seems to be decent, but there seems to be some kind of thing that they don't have with each other. But Dino Babers is getting fired this week from Syracuse, apparently. Lost to Georgia Tech, made Georgia Tech eligible. And you know what? Since my guy Luke is here, and Luke's my guy, we're going to go ahead and talk about Miami now, Luke. No, Luke put a couple questions like 49 degrees. It probably won't get 49 degrees until later in the afternoon. It doesn't get, like, when people put the high temperatures, most of the time the high temperature isn't at noon. Believe it or not, especially in the state of Florida, the high temperature is at 5 p.m. That's typically when they believe it. UM played Louisville in a game that they probably should have won. All jokes aside, Miami, I actually called it. I thought Miami would beat Louisville. Miami lost due to going against, doing something that was against, like I said, if they followed the same game plan they followed at Florida State, they would win. They didn't. They followed a much more aggressive and explosive game plan, and they had a chance to win, but they probably should have shifted to a more conservative game plan. And I don't necessarily mean by like conservative in a traditional sense. They should have went and just and ran the ball out, but they had a chance to score. The best player was the running back, in my opinion. Make sure I'm gonna if I can pull up the play. Yep. So the best player was the running back. Did a very good job. It was first and goal inside of Louisville's 4. You've got 2 minutes and 4 seconds left. You are up. You have a chance to, excuse me. At that point, are they down? Oh, yeah, they're down. They're down 38-31. You don't need to press anything. You actually need to give them less time. They run the ball first. Mark Fletcher gets a 1-yard run, gets it down to the Louisville 3. Now, I'm telling you, the person I think played the best that game was Mark Fletcher. There was no interception, so it's not similar to the Seahawks losing the Super Bowl. They threw 3 straight passes. Tyler Van Dyke, incomplete pass. Tyler Van Dyke, incomplete pass. Tyler Van Dyke, incomplete pass. Probably a pass interference. But it was not called. I have no sympathy for that because Miami fans gloated all week about how they shut down Keon Coleman. And they showed highlights. And you know what those highlights showed? a bunch of fucking pulling of the jersey and and they said that's just being handsy and just playing ball. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. I also have no sympathy for not Luke. Luke showed up. Again, another situation of why I have not a disdain, but I don't like the hypocritical nature of Twitter, because went hard at my guy Luke. Hard at my guy Luke. You know where Luke is every weekend? At the fucking Miami game. Couldn't use yours, had to use another one though. I did get one from my boy Hove, who coaches at Louisville. We'll show that in a second. But people talk about, matter of fact, post a picture of that video. Like, this isn't Luke's video, but like, this is what's crazy. And don't play the sound because it'll kill my our monetization. So, because that's the actual him one. It's senior night against a top 10 opponent. When if you win the next 2 games, you're playing in a better bowl game. You're favored at home, and you still can't sell out half the stadium. And it's or keep them awake, which was an exciting game. That guy might have just been drunk. The painful part in this is this: the excuses that Miami fans make. Miami is an event city. There's a lot of things going. You know what? You know what happened the day after that, Miles? The Dolphins played. You know what it was? Did you hear Le Batard say, "Man, we only had half the stadium full"? If Florida State would have played in that game, would have been packed. Louisville might not travel like that. We would have packed that bitch ourselves. The point in all of this is they'll say, well, we have some other stuff to do. We got yachts. We got this. You can't yacht 6 other days of the week. There are 6 American college football home games a year, 7 to 8 at most. You mean there are what? There's 52 weeks in a year. You yachting that much, and it's not even the best time to be on the water. It's hurricane season. Rightfully so. Basketball team is good. My point in all of this is you bring all this bravado, all of this stuff for you to act like you're singing in a falsetto voice. Like, you don't back your words up, like, with anything. Nothing means anything to you. You're bringing up the 80s. Because you got, always, because by the time we catch them in championships, the excuse will be, well, it took you forever to catch us in championships. Like, fuck you. The point that I'm arguing with this one dude, Dollar Bob or whatever his name is. Talks a lot of shit. Great kid. Went to Florida High. So the funny thing is, bitch, you went to Florida State Developmental Research School. You were a Seminole. You were a baby Seminole for your whole life. And now you're a Hurricane fan. Make that make sense. That being said, he tells me about all the championships they won. Bitch, you weren't alive for them motherfuckers. I barely remember the championships and I was alive for them. You've won 1 championship since you've been alive. In 20 years of the ACC, and this is you are what you are until you ain't. I know that's insightful, but this comes from a Kane fan. Almighty roster. I'm pretty sure he's a Kane fan. Yep, Miami knocked down the Canes for life. Shogun master of all college football Twitter Spaces, Miami Space plug. Again, the only place that Miami fans are tough and bombastic is in Spaces. Because when it comes down to it, remember, I told everybody. Now, shout out to Luke again. Luke made a bet. Luke paid his bet. He's a Lannister. Everybody else copping please to get out of bets with me. Oh shit. I want the energy that you had when you was doing all the bragging and now you back that shit up. Because if you would have won, I'd have came with it. But we know how, again, it's easy to talk about something, but it's harder to do it. So why would I believe my life will ever be threatened by somebody who can't even live up to something in peacetime? 6-5, 5-7, 7-5, 8-3, 6-7, 7-6, 10-3. Fire that guy. 9-4 the year before that. 8-5, 6-7, 9-4, 7-5, 6-6, 7-6, 9-4, 7-6, 5-7, 7-6, 9-3, 9-3. James, what did you just rally off? I rallied off the University of Miami's wins in the last 20 years since they've been in the ACC. 9-3. Now 04 and 05 was part of probably the years of the greatest collection of talent that the University of Miami has ever had. And you didn't win 10 games. Oh, it was coaching. So you fired the coach, hired a coach. Oh, it was coaching. So you fired the coach, hired a coach. Oh, it was coaching. So you fired the coach, hired a coach. Oh, it was coaching who actually got you to the ACC championship. And because you didn't go past that, you fired him for a rookie coach, paid a buyout to the school that coach went to, Temple, for a week, to bring him back to thank your rivals for getting him fired. Thank God for 4th and 14. To bring in, yeah, so that coach, that Cuban, with 8-3, 7-5. We got to get rid of the stink of Manny Diaz. So you go 5-7, and now it's progress because you won one more game. You're 6-5 now. And you got to go up to get that 7th win, which I predicted you to be 7-5. You got to go to the frozen north. I don't think you understand. Like everything that people cry about. That's why I was telling people, y'all bitching about if the ACC, if we join the Big Ten, we fucking play in Boston in November every other year. It's only cold in November. Like it's only cold 1 month. If you get through that 1 month, you're good. Well, let me rephrase that. 1 month during football season. It's cold as fuck after that. We don't play games in December. But I say all that to say is Miami has historically been disappointment. Like you were good. And the energy that comes off is of the energy of a team that has won championships recently. And unfortunately, you have it. Thank you, Sandra, for the $3 donation. Shout out to that. Groove did run off. Groove was one. Groove's not who I'm talking about. I didn't bet Groove. I knew not to bet Groove. I knew Groove was just talking shit. The guy's name, I don't know, it's like the man of your dreams on Twitter. He says he doesn't, he makes bet. He bet LSU, he paid his bet, but he won't bet his own team. The guy walked out who said that Dyke was going to be the best quarterback, says that he walked out of his bet. I read it on here, says I can't bet because I can't bet because I can't bank on the Dyke. Randy Shannon does have a better record than Mario at this point. Yeah, they did. Jeremiah Smith, quarterback. That was always in the works. He's a tall kid, throws sidearm. They're trying to do everything they can do. I haven't talked to anybody since that happened. I still won't change my prediction of where I believe if he decommits from Ohio State. But I'll tell you this, Luke, a Miami fan that listens. And I said the same thing after playing Miami. Uncle Luke says he stands behind Mario. Half the fan base, they're split. And I'm going to tell you the side of the fan base that's not for Mario, I'm with you. I like Mario because Mario's not good for you. That's why I like Mario. If he sticks around the whole length of the contract, he probably will get you 8 wins in one of these years. And then you'll feel a sense of pride and that we're back. But you're not. I'm going to tell you why. When I watched the Miami game, I said that was a team, a coach that coached as if he didn't have good talent, that he was inferior. He was afraid. He knew if he opened up, if y'all would have, I think we'd beat the fuck out of you, but I would have had more respect if y'all would have played us like y'all played Louisville. Because you tried. You tried not to lose against Florida State by that much. You tried to beat Louisville. But when my friend at Louisville said, there's no way Miami is a 6-win team at this point. That's all coaching. That's an opinion. But when you go back and you look at the Virginia game, which you didn't win, but you should have lost. You look at the NC State game where you're clearly more talented than NC State. You look at the Georgia Tech game where all you had to do was take a fucking knee. When you really go back and you look at some of these things, you have to take into account that your coaching is subpar. It's mid. Everything that you say everybody else is what you is. And it's sad because you're better than that. Now, I say that respectfully to you. I say this with the ultimate disrespect for this next program. Them motherfuckers gave up 508 American football yards. I don't give a fuck who's the starting quarterback at Florida State. This Pilgrim is a fucking offensive coordinator stimulus package. Like, I still to this day can't believe that Florida fans literally are in my comments defending this stupid motherfucker. When I talk about, if you look up mid in the dictionary, what does mid look like? The defensive coordinator at the University of Florida is what mid looks like. When I saw, so I was listening to people talk about the game, and our game was over. My kids were getting autographs. I was saying my goodbyes, even though I'm going to see them, their family now. It's going to be weird not seeing Kalen DeLoach at Florida State anymore. His nephew, I've been around him. It's like 5 years, and like we've been heavy. Like I talk to Rob a lot. Rob calls me a lot. Before Kalen came to Florida State, I had my gym. Kalen and Trey trained with each other. It was funny. Kai was in a car seat, and Mama DeLoach picked him up and held him the entire hour and a half training session. I was sitting there and I'm looking at my phone, and Florida drives down and they make the game 31-30. I'm like, damn. Up. They beat Missouri. It's like 1:40 left. And then I looked at my phone. And is this on? Is this tweet up there? Oh, I looked at my phone and I saw the score, and this is basically me, LeBron James up there laying down. I saw that Missouri kicked the field goal and won. I couldn't believe it. I could not believe it. I let out, I am a hater. I let out a good, glorious hater cheer. Everybody was looking at me like I was crazy. I said, ain't my God good? I said, ain't my God good? Florida and Miami lost, and we won. Whew. And then I did see something that was sad that did happen. And Graham Mertz has a fractured collarbone, I believe. It's not a broken, which kind of sucks. Like, you kind of want it to be broken. It's probably more painful. So to the earlier point what Primetime Mac brought up about notable tweeter and Gator Twitter that's been absent. I can't follow him. Like, he doesn't, any man who talks a lot of shit and then protects their tweets, you're not a man. My shit is all in the open. People roast me all the time. If I don't like what you're saying, I just put you on fucking mute. These people called him Baby Kirby in my comments. You're entitled to your own opinions of how you feel about it, but you're not entitled to your own facts. 580, 702, 481, 486, 465, 344, 398, and 397 yards. That is what they have given up this season. I'm not saying Florida State's going to go give up 5. I firmly believe we're going to put up 400 yards of total offense. That's why I don't understand why Florida fans are mad at the lack of an offensive coordinator. But like, they should be mad at the lack of the fact that their offense is putting up over 30 points, almost 40 points a game, and they're losing. That's what you should be, and that's solely falls on the defensive coordinator. But I want to just again, the beautiful thing about this app is play by play. So when I didn't see the game, I can go down and scroll. And what I was told was that it couldn't have been this play, right? No, but it wasn't. They had a chance to ice the game. Maybe it was. They went 12 play drive, minute 29 seconds. It was 38 seconds left in the game, Miles. I'm going to tell people. I love telling this because there's people who listen to this on Apple Podcasts and some of the other places, SoundCloud. I got to tell you the story. 4th and 17 at the Missouri 33-yard line. It would have been a 50-yard field goal attempt. It's a little bit too far. Pregnant pause. Brady Cook completed a pass to Luther Burden III for 27 yards to the Florida 40. It was 4th and fucking 17. All you needed was one play and the game was over. You allowed a team in a minute and 29 seconds to go 62 yards and put themselves in a position to leave 5 seconds on the clock for you to be able to win the game. For them to be able to win the game. How dare you talk about anything? You should be quiet. How dare you believe anything that anybody on this beat says to you? They've done nothing but lie to you over and over and over again. These aren't good people. They're taking your money. I don't know who's worse. I'd rather listen to Gabby Urethra from Miami than some of these other cats. They don't know ball. They keep telling you stuff that's contrary to what you actually see, and you believe it. I'm not saying Florida State is going to waltz in there and blow their brains out. But I'm telling you that this ain't good. You were not this bad last year. Y'all said shit like truly seeing progress, right? So year one of Mike Norvell was 3-6. Awful. But let's use examples, right? Since we're gonna do about it, we're gonna talk about it. Let's talk about it. It don't matter how prepared you are, ain't nothing to prepare you for a nationwide pandemic. Mike Norvell was 3-6, and he hadn't even been around the kids for 3 months. Maybe it was a little bit longer. No, yeah, because March is when he came in December. So January, February, March is when the pandemic happened and the world shut down. He's been around the kids for 3 months. He had to develop relationships, recruit, train, work out, and get prepared for a football season over the internet. Coming from a team that had already been decimated because they went from running a pro-style offense to trying to run a spread where you're going 100. So you went from a 75 play max to wanting to run 120 plays a game to going back. So all kinds of different body types. Those are the facts in context of what Mike Norvell walked into. That is not what Mario walked into. That is not what Billy walked into. Regardless of how bad you feel it was, there was no nationwide shutdown. There was nothing stopping him from getting to know every one of his players. Do you understand where most of us come from? We don't come from places where you can get 3 really good fucking meals and you can get unlimited supplements. Mike walked into a situation with no fucking training table. Year 2, he didn't have a training table because COVID regulations were still in. None of them had to deal with that. Not one had to deal with that. So stop that. Stop the false equivalencies. And you know what he did in year 2? He went 5-7 and had his dumbass play Jordan Travis. We beat Jacksonville State, and he's in a bowl game. But there was a progress that you saw. And then in year 3, he won 10 games. There's nothing, I'll bet anybody money, good money right now. Miami ain't winning 10 games next year in year 3. Billy ain't winning 10 games next year in year 3. So stop the fucking false equivalencies and let's talk about what this really is. The boys shit the bed and they're not looking good. It's not looking up. And recruiting is inflated in a couple of those places. If you sign 30 people, you should have a top 10 fucking class. In fact, if you sign 30 people, your class should be top 5. The fact that it's only top 10 is not acceptable. Especially after bringing in over 40 people last year. And then talking about, they're trying to say, oh my God, all they got is transfers. But then write articles talking about you're going to aggressively use the transfer portal. The only person who's fucked it up more is Deion Sanders. But even he gets a pass because he actually is a first-year coach. And he doesn't have coaching experience as a head coach. His first experience was at Jackson State. You brought in 2 guys that have coached at numerous stops. Billy Napier is not doing good. It's not going to get better. In fact, it gets worse for Florida because your schedule is fucking worse. It's harder. You don't have, and if you're bringing in DJ Lagway and you're expecting a true freshman to come in and save your day, I got news for you. Actually, more than that, I got beachfront property in Iowa to sell you. Stop it. You got a defensive coordinator that literally grabs his, that bends over and spreads cheeks and allows anybody to penetrate and bang him as hard as they can because he can't stop nothing. Those are the facts. If you want to retort the facts with more facts, show me why you should have faith. Because you got to stop using the Mike Norvell example because it's not the same. It's not the same. Ain't no nationwide pandemic. You got all the off-field staff that you have is so massive that you should not be failing in recruiting. You don't have the quarterback there. Now your hopes are that we're going to go pull a guy in the transfer portal when one guy that you beat right, well, for one school that your beat writer said was coming says he's staying in Kansas. The other one says he ain't leaving Tulane. Florida's putting their hope in a quarterback that throws Hennessy bottles. DJ Lagway, I don't like his throwing motion. Just being honest with you. But you bring him out there, he's going to get his ass decapitated too. But I was just wondering, how the fuck do you give? Do we have the coach's audio? How do you give up 4th and 17 with 38 seconds left in the game when you could just keep everything behind you? What kind of defense would you run to make this happen? I mean, we just got some exclusive audio.
Scheme, you know what I mean? Our deal is we're going to be multiple 4-down front team that play split safety man match and middle field close coverage. We're going to pressure, the word creeper gets thrown around, right? Which is a 4-man pressure versus the pass and a 5-man pressure against the run. So it's a mixture of a fire zone and a cover 3 cover concepts. We do some other stuff from a 5-man process that's different at a 4-down front and 3-down front. At the end of the day, not many people are like us that are
You're right.
in the back end.
Not many people could give up 4th and 17 with 38 seconds left to lose a game. And what's crazy is it's like the guys don't even want to play in a bowl game. It's like you needed to win this game. You needed to win it. Can you go to key and play? This is when they should have known they were going to lose, even though there's much more happened. Luther Burden, who a lot of Florida fans said wasn't any good, they called him over. You know, the same shit that they do when talking about Keon Coleman and all this other stuff that rival fan bases do. They did the same shit to Luther Burden. I think he wanted to go to Florida. This is the hard-hitting defense, and attitude reflects leadership. This is who your defensive coordinator is. And why? I don't want the whole thing. I just want that little piece right there. Goes back a little bit more. Push pause. Now, what is Luther Burden? Let's go. Let me look at this up. This is because Luther Burden's a good wide receiver. I don't know what the fuck. Florida fans are haters. Talking about, he ain't that good, blah, 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 overrated. Yeah. He's 5'11", 208 pounds. Listen, yeah, definitely solid. This is a Kyle. So 5'11", 208 does that. What do you think 6'4", 215 or 6'7", 230 is gonna do? That's what your guy went up with. Like, man, get the fuck out of here, man. This sport is played by violent men. Defensive players I'm supposed to look at a defensive player and be a little intimidated because they ain't got it all right in the head. This man didn't come up for nothing. Wouldn't bust a grape in a fruit fight. But dead serious. People, forget who the quarterback is. We could have played like shit against North Alabama. North Alabama's defense is better than this. This is what you fear. Anything can happen any given Saturday, anytime you line up. But I don't understand what some of y'all are thinking. I can't call it. Cannot call it. But and on top of that, if we go down to the next one, nobody's afraid of you. Missouri beats you, and then it should be Nick Del Toro. Then they came over here and did this to you. They beat them 5-17. They beat them 5-17. We're in their Super Bowl. And their fans actually had some really good comebacks. Everybody says that when we celebrate. There's like, we've had 9 Super Bowls this year. Why is she trying to get them to stop? Because you're not there. They literally came over there and antagonizing stuff. So like they're about to fight. Oh, somebody's probably, I don't know. That should look like the future. Yeah. It's like one of them scan things. The QR code. That's so they can't see in their faces. You can't stop them. They grown men. But shout out to my guy Gator Ryan and then this lady right here deserves, because she's sick of this shit. She is sick. TD Gator 9 is sick of this shit. Mark Ryan puts, it's kind of like when Gabby Urethra put that Mario doesn't lose in November, except for he loses in November a lot. But it's neither here nor there. Mark puts, Billy Napier is a good man and a leader of men. But philosophically, he's not a fit. Time management-wise, he's not a fit. Time and place, he swings and misses too often. Nothing personal, wrong coach for this team. TD Gator 9, give him the Nobel Peace Prize for being a good man and get him the fuck out of Gainesville. Oh, man. This is wild, man. Wild stuff, man. Miles, 38 seconds left in the game. 4th and 17. ESPN does this thing It's a really cool thing. I'm explaining y'all. The ESPN doesn't pay me for this, by the way. It's just really good things for you guys to enjoy and become educated about football if you want. Some people choose to be ignorant, and I get it. I would just listen to some of these talking heads that have never played the game before. They do this thing called the win probability. Florida had a 99.9% win probability with 38 seconds in the game. One thing both of our rivals can hold over us and truthfully say it with pride and sincerity is that they both lost a game in the final seconds where they had a 99.9% win probability. Miami had that with Georgia Tech, and Florida had this with Missouri. Florida's chances to win this game on 4th and 17, and this was live, 99.9%. Napier's not that guy. Coached for a field goal when the team needed a touchdown. Pathetic. A great effort from the team that is thwarted by the head coach. That is not a great effort on defense by any stretch of the imagination. It just means more, is what they say. And a guy was talking about how we need Mike Norvell needs to go to Texas A&M and all that jazz. Actually, Luke used that to somebody. Say, your coach about to leave to go to Texas A&M. And one of the great comebacks is like, well, you ain't got to ever worry about losing your coach. Don't nobody want that sorry motherfucker. New Mexico State upset Auburn 31-10 on the road. They were a 25-point favorite heading into the game. It could be worse. You could be there, but they're recruiting. Auburn gave up 414 yards of total offense. They gained 213. Maybe this is how they got Cam Coleman, one of the top wide receivers in the nation, to commit. Damn, New Mexico had 12 penalties. They just completely dominated an SEC school. But people want me to believe that the SEC, top to bottom, is one of the best conferences out there. I mean, listen, man. All I can tell you is this. There's things that trend. There are things that trend in the right direction. There's things that don't. There's reasons to have optimism, and then there's all kinds of reasons. Sometimes they're rooted in facts. Sometimes it's just false optimism and just being positive until it gets knocked out of you, which I think is actually a great way to live life. Sometimes. But I think you should actually just say I'm being positive just for the sake of being positive so that people can know how to have arguments with you and discussions. While Florida and Miami fans looked at an injury that happened and a struggle for a quarter against an FCS team that probably gave more fight and heart than they did when they played us, as a weakness, is not. I want you guys to look at this. Florida State had been down, and neither rival has been able to capitalize on it. But one thing Florida State has done, obviously the last decade, we won a national championship, played in numerous ACC championships, played in the first ever college football playoff, probably have on the doorstep of playing in another college football championship. When we get up, we don't let off. So if the future is consistent with what we've seen in the past, buckle up, boys. Florida State's getting whatever they want. And until you guys actually get some reality in those coaching staffs, it's not going to be pretty anytime soon. Because the problem isn't in the players. It's in the position that the old men are putting the players in. I would really much rather talk in a much better light than that, but it ain't really looking good, man. That terrifies me. Luke says Alabama's beating Georgia, and that terrifies me. But we'll talk more about all of these different things on Wednesday. If you would like to check out the breakdown of the North Alabama game, we'll be doing that around 1 p.m. today. No giveaways or anything this week. If by some chance we get to 5,000 subscribers by next week, by next Wednesday, we'll give away a pair of tickets to the ACC championship game. If not, if we get to that goal, if we don't get it then, if we get the goal by the time we play in our playoff game or the bowl game, I will give away a pair of tickets to that. Outside of that, I appreciate you guys for chopping it up with me. And we'll see you guys next time.